Well, today we're into a rivalry with the best side in Europe for the first time since we left English football. And although we're going to completely ignore a tense three-horse race at the top of the Bundesliga, today we've probably got the two toughest away trips in the continent. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 139 of this head coach story with me, Daniel. You can see three teams tied at the top of the Bundesliga table, but we're not worrying about the league today. We have got a renewed rivalry with that side at the top of the screen. Manchester City and Jurgen Klopp, the best side in Europe, the number one ranked side in the Champions League, and of course the side that prevented us winning a title at United and caused us so much heartache in so many competitions. Today, we will come up against them with Dortmund, we will play Schalke relegation candidates off camera, and then we will be back for Bayern Munich away, who we've unfortunately drawn in the second round of the German Cup. So if you're looking forward to us facing the last two Champions League winners away from home back-to-back in two different competitions, then please do put a thumbs up on it. It's going to be a good barometer of where we are and how far we've got to go with this football club. And of course, this game, as you can see today, we've got to do it without our best player, who's out injured. I should mention Manchester United are 11th in the Premier League, having signed nobody else in August. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can do better with this club than we did with United against them last year, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got a lot to get through, so let's go straight to the schedule and see what's happened in a few games off camera, because you were with me last time as we played two games where we struggled for goals, we struggled for shots, and Luis Canales, our striker, had got himself in a goal drought. Thankfully, he's ended that in the last game, but we have lost our best player to injury, which is going to be a problem. Against Braunschweig, we rotated heavily. We got a 2-0 win. Leonid Gruznov, our former Palace man, he'll be coming up against Christian Spasov today, his former teammate. And Fuad Cardon got the second goal. He is now our number 10. He also scored one against Cologne after the international break, as did Mulder, the new boy, and two for Luis Canales, who is back in goal scoring form. Not sure how many he's going to get in this episode, but if he gets a few, he gives us a chance. So let's go straight over to it. We have not got anything else to talk about other than two huge away trips, two very difficult games, and if we manage to pull the tactic off well, probably two games where we frustrate teams. We sit back a little, don't have many highlights, don't make it the most entertaining, but I've got to show you us testing ourselves against the best teams, and these two are the best two teams, the two teams that have last won the Champions League. Manchester City are the current holders. David Godwin we've seen many times. Preta on the right stopped us winning the Nations League when we were managing England and he was in the Italy side. And Spasov, we know how good he is. We managed him at Palace, as we did for Kelleher at left back and for Parsons and Stansfield, who were in our England team. But let's go and get through to the match selection because we've got a lot to talk about here. The big news is that Sniper is injured and will miss both of these games as well as the weekend and probably next weekend as well. He picked that up on international duty and Johansson unregistered because of the lack of homegrown players in the squad. So it is going to be a bit pieced together. We're probably not going to change the 11. We'll rotate fully against Schalke. But for now, it's about filling the bench as much as possible. And that's going to rely on the B team a bit. We have got a couple of players here who are decent, so two that are 2-star ability. But it's not really what we want to be doing when we're going to the best side in Europe, and maybe shows where some of our deficits are at the minute. So those two will come onto the bench today. We have got 10 of our 12 that we're able to put out. And our first 11 is pretty much as you would expect. It's as follows. We've got Elijah Smith in goal, Steinke and Van der Pluim are the fullbacks with Merville and Lapo at centre-half, Wakinen and Keeley the midfield two, Koomson and Mulder on the wings, with Carden in to replace Sniper as the number 10, playing well at the moment, so hopefully he keeps it up, and Luis Canales through the middle. He's back in goal scoring form, we need that, and I'm going to make one other change actually. Aubert is going to come in at right back. Into the match we go, we're off to the Etihad. In fact, it's now the Stefano Pioli Arena, isn't it? And I'm not sure this is going to be an easy night. We've got a very tough Champions League group, Arsenal and Barcelona, to come in the next few episodes as well. We've probably got to pick up one surprise result, and we might have to go backs to the wall to try and do it here. Well, here we go. And as we've mentioned, there's four players in this City side we've managed before. There's many others that have caused us heartbreak over the years. So let's just see how we get on. We're one of those sides, like the greyed out leagues in the distillery save, where we just can't name a full bench. We're one of those embarrassing ones. We've got the lads motivated. There is no way we're playing on the front foot today. We're going to drop to balance. We're going to slow our game down. And hopefully it will be enough. Let's skip through the music. Get straight into the first half. Well, the slightly more backs to the wall mentality has not worked because 4 minutes in, it's a City highlight. They're pressing forward with Kelleher. Jurovic in the holding role, into Spasov and Borelli. Great football. Stansfield's over on the right. There's four in the middle. Preta's one of them. And it's through Elijah Smith again. The horror story, the nightmare is back. Preta scores against Smith, another trophy on the line. And this time the Champions League group is about to get trickier because we are not going to win this game. I'm sorry. We've managed to pick up 2 wins already in 2 of the easiest games in the group, which is great. But I'm worried about the next few. As City play out, I mean, no one's close to them in European football. Bayern Munich are the closest, but even then, it takes something for them to beat them. As Mulder releases Cardon, can we get an equaliser? Oh, smash and grab! From the middle of nowhere. We've had nothing in this game. 1 ball nicks on halfway. And a couple of good passes put us in. The goal is awarded after a VAR check. Cardon has gone in that 10 role. He's actually played better than Sniper, albeit he was knackered. Maybe that rest will benefit him. We just need to hope that he doesn't end up overworking in the November international break. Mulder sets it up, the deadline day signing. Great to have a director of football add in players who are contributing rather than just taking them away. Proven by the fact United are currently in the bottom half. They're 0-0 at Ajax, so they might be dropping points again. Looks like they've got no better away from home in Europe. And at half-time, it's worked. We've not been great. We've been outplayed. But as it stands, we're on course for an invaluable point and a result that would be, well, an eye-opener for Europe, because City have just dominated for most of the recent years. As we've got a corner with Cardon, it could get even better. Not with a delivery like that. It's straight at Eliseu. And the last thing you want to do in games like this is give City possession when your defenders are up the pitch, as it's a long ball forward. Aubert heads it, but only to Pret. He finds Spasov. Good challenge from Joaquin. And then Keeley gives it straight back to them. Godwin to Spasov again. What a bit of magic he's got in his boots, honestly. I knew he was going to be very good when we got him at Palace, but he's become one of the best players in world football, and I probably didn't quite expect that. With 5 minutes gone in the second half, it's City on the front foot again, but at the moment we're holding on. We're doing our job, and this would be a great start to the episode. An hour on the clock, we're going to think about tired legs, but again, the weekend is a chance for us to rest people, so we'll just take off the ones that are playing poorer, and Koomson, who has now picked up a knock. That injury means that Leonid Gruznov will get a run out, our experienced player. He will come up against his former teammate Spasov. Canales has not had a great one again, but was he ever going to get much service here? I'm not sure he was. Mugnai can get a run out up front, and I think we'll leave the rest for now because we've got a tired leg in Joaquin, but we've not really got that sub now. We lost our backup holding midfielder, didn't we? He went over to Saudi Arabia. As Cardon picks the ball up on the left. We've still got a threat on the counter, but I'm not sure it's enough. And if City nick the ball, they could well break away. As Van der Pluim chips in, Cardon can't get there. We do win it back with Mulder on the left, though. Stansfield in. We know how good he is at right back. To Scaroni. Big ball over to Castañas. And here we are out of shape. It's a rare occasion. It's into Christian Spasov. And it's a great save by Smith. But they carved us open. On the counter, one-touch football. It's brilliant stuff. And there we go. I was talking about French football in the summer. Strasbourg beating Inter Milan. It's another example of how well those guys are going. As Gruznov loses the header, it's out to Scaroni. Would be great to hold on, but we are running out of legs and we do concede a lot of late goals this year. I can't quite get the fitness up to scratch with this team yet. As Jurovic finds Parsons, and again, Borelli to Castañas. He's making a run as well. This is surely going to lead to something. Castañas into Borelli. Joaquin brings him down. And he's given the penalty kick. He's not going to overturn that. It looked really soft, but again, if it's clumsy, if you give the referee a chance, the big sides are always going to get them. And City are the dominant European side. The commentary says it's a harsh decision, but that's not going to mean much, is it? We're going to encourage the lads because they're going to concede this, and City are 2-1 up. Now it's time for changes. Aubert will come off for Steinker, who's a slightly more aggressive fullback. I'm going to take Joaquin off after that penalty. Who do we bring on? I mean, maybe Gaita can play. He's a centre-half naturally, but he's got a bit more bite about him. He could go in as the ball winner or defensive mid for now. And then maybe in Keeley, again, he's 33. Cardon's getting on a bit as well. I mean, what do we go for? I think we go Santos for Nkili. It's the closest like-for-like replacement we've got that's actually first-team level. With 10 minutes to go, we keep on our attacking stars. I'm not sure we equalise again. We got the smash and grab, but a penalty's going to cost us. Well, 5 minutes of stoppage time. Marco Demeter has nicked United a win away in Europe, and we have been narrowly beaten by the best side in world football. Manchester City dominated the game, but we did manage to hold them off for a while, and we almost nicked a very good point. The result we probably expected. We've still got a little way to go to catch a side like City, but we did ourselves proud. We put in a good effort, and now we've got a more realistic test. Still a very difficult one. They won the Champions League the year before, but Bayern Munich away in the cup, and if we win it, we're probably the favourites for the competition. Well, in several regards, it's been a pretty interesting 6 days since that City match. We've had a number of key injuries. We had a great result and breakthrough star on Saturday, and then heartbreak with the same player the day after. Canales missed that weekend game with a knock. We also had the right winger out who got injured on Wednesday, but if we have a look at the schedule, we did manage to pick up a 2-0 win against Schalke. Under 21 start Fabio Cotha came from the B team and scored both, and they got an early red card, which allowed us to rotate towards the end. So we bought on Brody, one of those cheap American summer signings. We bought on Jarno, the young left winger from the B team as well, and Cotha got himself a start. He scored both goals, and then the day after, he's out for 6 weeks with an ankle injury. So a bit unfortunate because he looked really good, but he's not going to be playing for a little while now. It does mean we've picked up another 3 points though. Eintracht Frankfurt starting to slip away. They were beaten convincingly at the weekend. And now, probably as expected at the start of the season, it's us and Bayern neck and neck at the top. And we go head to head tonight, but not in the Bundesliga. It is a German Cup tie, which you could argue might even decide the trophy this early on. Maybe that's arrogant to suggest. But now, with that and a couple more injuries, we go and get into this one. Sniper has still got a knock. We know he's going to be problematic. They've still got Endrick and Musiala among many brilliant young players, and Esnal, another former player of ours at Palace, will be evident today. 93,000 in at the Allianz Arena. Big changes from the weekend reserve side. Let's go and see who's fit. Let's pick our 11. We'll be back in a minute to run through it. Well, tonight's lineup does have an air of desperation about it. Sniper is not fit, Koomson is not fit, Johansson really isn't either. So we've gone for Gruznov on the right-hand side. We've gone for Auber again as the more defensive fullback option. And other than that, we're as strong as we can be, but the bench is starting to look a little light now. I wish they'd held on to that Kraus on deadline day. Very similar to the Joseph Taylor situation. We've lost a little gem who would have been good in a squad, but as it is, we're going to submit the team. We're going away in a German Cup. It's the top 2 sides drawing in the second round. I mean, who would have thought it? It's just unfortunate, isn't it? Whoever wins this tie, probably going to win the trophy. We'll drop to our balanced mentality again, but let's go and get into it as it's 5 changes for Bayern. They rotated a bit at the weekend as well, and this team looks particularly strong. We know Musiala and Endrick are coming towards the end. Pierron is brilliant as skipper. De Bruyne is sensational as well. And you've also got Esnal as centre-half, who we know all too well is world-class. Their first choice keeper is even in for this. They don't do that often in the Cups. So let's just go and get through the dressing room. We're going to encourage the lads. The pressure's all on Bayern. It's the only game that we could have got in this Cup that we're not expected to win. Even if we got the same game at home, there would have been a bit of pressure. As it is, you go out and enjoy it. Get the fans turned by scoring an early goal, and then you never know what might happen. Into it we go. Bayern v Dortmund. These are the occasions we came for. Both sides are in winning form at the minute. The City's defeat of us might be the one thing that does give them the upper hand here. 4-2-3-1 for us. We're not going to change a great deal, but we are going to drop back a little bit here. Just try and hit them a touch more on the counter. There's a throw on the right for Bayern early doors. Nearly 10 on the clock. De Bruyne throws it in. Looked like a foul throw. He gets away with it as it finds Pierron. He crosses from the right to Endrick. I think he was offside. The flag has gone up, which is normally a crucial sign, and it's disallowed. No VAR here. We get away with an early one, but they almost broke that offside trap. And now they've got a free kick in a dangerous area. We know the walls aren't normally great here, Smith is in goal. What can he do? Thankfully, he doesn't have to do anything. Endrick curls it wide. Not a great 15 minutes to start. It's still 0-0, which is all that matters. Well, we've been absolutely battered on the stats in this first half, but it doesn't really matter at the moment. It's going to be a game where we expect to take a little bit of pressure soaking up, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do it and then hit that sucker punch on the counter. As Elijah Smith goes for the big ball over the top, Mulder loses it, and so does Van der Pluim, but he does really well to win it back, and as I say that, he gives it away again. Mulder picks it up a third time. Van der Pluim over towards Canales. He's had a little knock, but he nicks that off Esnall, gets himself in, and on his weaker side, it's a brilliant finish. Luis Canales, I tell you what, he has half the games where he is just completely anonymous, doesn't touch the ball, doesn't do much. He's very much the Erling Haaland at City syndrome. You've had very few touches at the ball, but in the games where you can get him a bit of service and maybe 2 chances, you can guarantee he's going to score a goal. He's done so here. It is exactly as we planned it. Bayern have battered us. They've had all the chances and all the pressure. But at the moment, it's 1-0 Dortmund. And in the cup, this would be a big one. We've got to face the fact that this year, especially with the hammerings that Bayern are handing out, we might not win the league first time around. So if we can win a competition, we can keep Dortmund winning. That would be a very special thing for us. We've got 25 minutes to go. We're going to have to look at changes in a minute because we left it a bit later against City and then one of those tired players gave away a pen. And again, we've left it too late because as equalises, Musiala with the cross. And Dortmund have been pegged back. Bayern a level, they deserve it over the course of the game. But there is a point now where we're going to have to twist because at the moment, Bayern are heading towards victory. They've got the momentum. Gruznov has had a poor game. He's not really good enough for this level. Do I bring on Koomson and gamble him? I'm not really sure. We're going to have to really because all of those 3 need to come off. So it's going to be Gruznov for Mugnai, who hasn't played on the right yet this year. We're going to bring on Ole Zola on the left-hand side and then Koomson as the number 10. We're also going to take off Joaquin. He'll be replaced by, I think, Gaita again is the only option we've got as that sort of defensive mid. And then at fullback, maybe Aubert, but I'm going to save it 5 more minutes. 15 to go, Musiala's on the ball. Pending change, you know what's going to happen. And Larpo deflects it over the bar. Corner kick, don't really like to make changes with them, but it's happened. And we're still clinging on, but it's a Herman corner. But Bayern definitely the dominant side now, sorry. As it's out to the right wing. And the subs are chasing it, but we're not able to get there. We're playing the whole game in our own defensive half. It's a good challenge, but can we get away? Mugnai, he's the attacking right winger. Look where he is back there. Back to Elijah Smith. Oh my God, it's an awful clearance. We get away with it. Merville's giving it away on the edge of his box. Seriously, you've watched 10 seconds ago that you've got away with murder. Why would you pass it to the player there? I have no idea what you're doing. 15 to go. It's an awful mistake from Merville. Gaita's now going to go into defence. We'll bring Santos on in midfield. I'm absolutely speechless at that. I just don't understand why you'd watch yourself get away with something and then decide to try it again 10 seconds later. It's not part of the game plan. And we've cost ourselves here, I think, as Mugnai's got a free kick and Larpo's up is straight at the keeper. And very similar to the City game. I don't see how we get to. Maybe Bayern go on a tough cup run and we end up nicking the league. I don't know, but feels like a disappointing one. It's the only tie we would have lost, which is what makes it frustrating. But the manner of it after nicking that goal to go ahead is even more infuriating as Mugnai wins it back for Aubert and then Keeley. Now we come away with Mugnai. Can we get back on terms? He's surging down the right. He's fresh. He's got good legs here. He gets in behind himself and then puts it straight at the keeper. You've got a 3-on-2 in the middle. Just lay it across goal and you're a hero. Oh, decision making from these sub players. It's not great. And let's be honest, our backup team is not as good as Bayern's, and that's where this game is settled. Znaiba being injured is crucial, Koomson the same, and he doesn't look fit in this number 10 role. As Musiala gets in, he does lay it across goal, and there, in one moment, has annoyed the difference. Musiala gets to the byline, doesn't try and shoot from an acute angle, just passes across goal for the tap-in. We try to go for the headlines, and unfortunately, it's cost us the result. Mugnai will put the cross in here. Might be a consolation, but I doubt it. And it's back to the drawing board as Van der Pluim. He finds Santos. Trying to carry the ball forward, but instead forced back to his keeper for Elijah Smith. Here's Aubert. Over the top to Mugnai. Chance to get one, but it's hit the back of his head. So poor. Orbear, back to Nlapo. Don't forget Mugnai was third choice striker at the start of the season. He hasn't played right in midfield. He's only playing up front because Kraus was sold on deadline day. And Bayern are just the stronger team at the minute. In a couple of years, if they don't replace Hendrick and Musiala, they might struggle. If we keep giving them the ball in those positions, we're going to be in a lot more trouble ourselves. It's 4-1, which is incredibly harsh over the course of the game. But when you look at 3 of those goals, it's Gator the sub again, not quite up to the same level. He's literally passed them the ball on halfway with a 3-on-3. And Koomson's done the same there. Orizola's done well to make something of it. Koomson releases Canales. Esnall brings him down. Mugnai's put it wide of an open goal. Oh my God, if that sums up the season. I'm not sure if he's actually scored for us yet. Maybe he did in that first cup tie of the year. But he's been so poor. And as the only alternative striker option, it's not ideal. He's missed an open goal to leave it at 4-1. And I know it means nothing, but still, it would have been crucial for the game. Just to get him a little bit of confidence, ready for the weekend. But it's not to be. It's going to be a 4-1 defeat. I don't know why we're watching these last few seconds. They're not going to come to anything. It's a very heavy defeat. It's not quite the same as the City game. We weren't really in it. We weren't close. We didn't defend that well. And we gifted some really poor chances as Mugnai finishes the game by losing the ball yet again. Why are we still playing and why are we still seeing this? There's nothing happening. This is not a key highlight, ladies and gentlemen. It's a big switch of play. The whistle's going to go as soon as this goes out. Seriously, why did we need to see it? The frustration is back, but Canales got his goal. Unfortunately, despite Bayern dominating the game, we really shouldn't have lost by 4. Let's go and have a look at the schedule for when it's going to be back. There's one competition. We're not going to win. Well, Canales has picked up another little knock, which will probably keep him out of the weekend. And I guess the issue here, we're being a bit unfortunate with injuries, but we're just missing out on some of those squad players now. For Kotha, that kid, to come in last weekend, score 2 and then pick up an injury the day after. It's one of those things, isn't it? We've had key players missing. We've just played our biggest 2 away games of the season, the toughest 2 away games in Europe. And we've not had our best creative player, our best player at the football club. We've not quite got the depth, but we're still a good side. And we've got to remember that bar those 2 games, we've been very solid this year. And they are the best 2 teams in Europe we've played away from home. What we're going to do next time is focus on home comforts and hopefully get a bit more resolve from that. Eintracht Frankfurt, yes, slipping away, but still third at the minute. We'll play them and Arsenal at home, 3 days apart. It's going to be a challenge for the squad if we keep getting knocks. And then we'll do Bayern and Barcelona in December before a little bit of a break ahead of the January deadline. Without the cup now, we've only got 2 trophies to focus on, so it should be a bit easier to space them out after that. If you did enjoy this one though, seeing us just fall short in the 2 biggest games we'll face this year, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the performances and the state of the squad at the minute. Just those little injuries at key times to some of our best players, it really is causing us some trouble at the minute. If we can get them back fit and hopefully string some games together, then maybe we'll start to be a bit more consistent against the bigger teams. For now though, we've got an easier run after that horrible start to the season, so let's hope we can put some results together. If you want to stay up to date and find out if we do, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back with a big one from our Builder Nation tomorrow. International tournament time over there. We also had the return of top 3s on Saturday and a channel update for the podcast ahead of the new football season. All of that stuff in the eye above and any links you can't find in the description below. But thank you very much for watching. Your support is always appreciated. 2 defeats, 2 lessons in the progress we need to make. Hopefully we'll be able to improve next time and get results back in front of our crowds.